you remember that part of what we had to do here after 94 is to say there must be new symbols for this new South Africa. So we must change the flag, must change the national anthem, we must change the coat of arms, even the awards. They used to have awards like the Good Hope Award. There are things like that. So we said no. Even the award system must change. For instance, we say there must be an award which celebrates creativity, beauty, and all of that. So we're then discussing this thing to say, but how are you going to represent beauty? So in the end, after a lot of discussion, so the decision is actually let's take one of our flowers, the Strelitzia. Then we say, so you can't say the order of the Strelitzia. It doesn't sound right. Let's find an indigenous name. So, all right, let's look for an indigenous name. So we try in many languages. And then discover that that flower is indigenous to the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. You see it here, but this is not indigenous here. It's transplanted. So the real name for Strelitzia in the African languages would be in languages spoken in the Eastern Cape and Natal. So all right. Then what is the Zulu name? And so there was a name, I can't remember it, but it was too long. And then so we must find the Xhosa name. We tried very hard. What is the Strelitzia in Xhosa? And many people who said they spoke Xhosa didn't know. There is, as you know, there is a bit of an indigenous forest on the Hawksback. Now there used to be a white man there, very, very free. He spoke better Xhosa than me. He knew that forest very well. And he would take you around the forest and tell you that I know the names of many of these plants only in Xhosa. I don't know in these other languages. So we had to call him. So I called him. I said, now, we are stuck here. What is the Strelitzia in Xhosa? He didn't hesitate. He said, President, come on. Is that so? He said, now give me a few hours. Let me just check. And he came back. He said, come on. So that's why you have an order of a command. I'm mentioning that because when we're doing the coat of arms, so we say, look, the coat of arms, if you look at the European coats of arms, they will have somebody on a horse with a long, not a dagger, like a javelin.
Spear.
Like, yeah, that's right. That is St. George. Yeah. St. George on his charger. Now, in a coat of arms, that is supposed to symbolize the protector of the nation. St. George and the charger. So we're looking and we said, no, but we can't have St. George here. Who is our protector? That is why you find those two figures taken from that Linton stone.
Yes, sir.
We said, the best protectors are the first people who died when the colonials came here. The first defenders of our independence were the Khoi and the San. So instead of St. George and his charger, let's have those people. You are quite correct. They were taken from that Linton stone. And then there's the question of the motto on the coat of arms. So again, we discuss this thing. We say, you see, we have got to use a language that unites the people. You can't use languages that are going to divide people. Because if you use a Zulu thing, then Max is going to say, why did you use this cause? Another one is going to say, no, but it should have been in Tswana or Venda or something. We said we need a language that unites the people of South Africa. And the only languages that will do that are the Khoi and the San languages. So we agreed, we agree. So we said, no, all right, then let's, what are we trying to say in the motto? So we want to convey this message of together as a people united. All right, that's what we want to express. Then let's do it, it's with thought in Nama. So we try. And then was advised by some of our Nama people, particularly in the Northern Cape. We say actually there's better Nama spoken in Namibia. Try the Namibians. So we did. And so the Namibians told us, but said the problem is that there are many dialects of Nama. We will give you an expression. Somebody who knows Nama will know that this is not South African dialect. That is Namibian dialect. So they advised against. Unless your people in South Africa give you the expression, it's better, not rather than us in Namibia. So we said to them, but no, it's the South Africans who sent us to you people. So now what are we going to do? Now something that the doctor here knows, which I wanted to raise. Now I think all of us know that sometime in the 19th century, there's a German man with, I think, an English woman who lived in Cape Town. And they talked to the colonial government at the time and said, look, you've got a number of Khoi and San people who are in jail in Cape Town. Can you release them to us? You are not freeing them. We will look after them. We are now the prison warders, as it were. So fortunately, the government agreed. And the reason they did that is because they wanted to talk to them about their culture, about language, about this and that and the other. And they wrote down these things. As far as I know, this is the only recorded history we have of the Khoi people speaking for themselves. Because these two Europeans say, now who are you? So they explain, these prisoners. No, these are the, they take them to the rock paintings. Now, what does these paintings mean? And they explain. All of this. So they wrote volumes and volumes and volumes of this. So, now remembering this story, and these records are at the University of Cape Town. So remembering this, we contacted the university and said to them, look, you people have got this record. which includes the recording of the language as it was spoken. And these two Europeans, they listened to and they put it, the only written record of any of the Khoi languages. So, so we tell them, those people in Cape Town, we're trying to say, out of all of us, we are united as one people. How do we say it? Again, it was a white professor. Who said to me, President, I'm going to fax this thing to you, the expression, which it did. So I get it. So I call him, I say, no, I've got the thing. Now, what is this? So he says, now you better listen carefully because you will have to teach everybody else in the country. So he says, tre, ekara, tre. I said, repeat, so I repeat. So I have to practice. And then, so I say, what language is this? He said, it's Tam. So the prisoners who were there in jail, they came from the Eastern Cape. They had originally from the Eastern Cape, which where the Tam comes from. He will know this. You know, in Xhosa, sometimes when they talk about the so-called coloureds, they call them Amachwama. And we never knew where this thing come from. But it's a corruption of Tam. In fact, it's not. They are not colored. In the use of Amachwama, these are the Khoi people. If you, I'm sure you know this. If you go around the Tsitsikamma forest, you know, I've been there, and you look and you say, but there are so many of our people here who are Khoi. Obviously, many. So, but again, you see this problem of the software. They are Stirman and this and that. But you can see these are Khoi people. And you get into the Tsitsikamma forest and look at the names of the trees and the plants and so on. And they'll tell you, now these are the Nama names or the Khoi names. But exactly the same names as in Xhosa. Many of the plants, the Khoi people there and the Xhosa people, they use the same words for the same plants. So, so I'm saying that, so in the coat of arms, we say that the protector of the nation, to that symbol of the protector, it can't be St. George. It must be our people, the indigenous population, that defended our independence, the very first, from the 15th century and so on. And then in terms of the motto, this is something that every child must grow up saying. Yes. It's a national motto. It used to be in the apartheid coat of arms. The X, what is it? Out of unity. Yeah. Ex unitate vires. Yes. Yeah. It's the same meaning, but in the Kham language. Now, I was also mentioning this thing about these records at the University of Cape Town, because as far as I know, now I'm saying these two Europeans, they recorded from the Kham prisoners the language, the history, the value, many things. Now, there are many of these volumes. and they are sitting at the University of Cape Town. Only a few of them have been studied by anybody. So there's a whole history there of the Khoi people, which is recorded in the 19th century from people who were the Khoi people who spoke to these Europeans. As I say that when they then listen to them, like this motto, now the German is saying, how are you going to write that thing down? So that's why you find these exclamation marks. That's their own way. You could change that. You can use the ordinary Xhosa orthography. You would not need all of those things. It would still be a character. We need to go get to those volumes at the University of Cape Town. I think the last time, when I spoke to that professor, they had done at most 1/4 of these volumes, because that is a very rich history of the Khoi particularly, which was recorded by these Europeans. And I'm saying including value systems, the meaning of the rock art. That's very rich here heritage sitting there in Cape Town that we need to do something about. Because in the end, I agree very much so to the point that was raised here about heritage, identity, and so on. Because I think that becomes part of putting in ourselves the new software. The new software. You see, it has to be, fortunately, there is a record, an authentic record of who the Khoi people are, how they lived, what their value system was, and all of that. To recover that, but make it a property of all South Africans. So that all of us as South Africans must be able to say no. A very important component of the population of South Africa, even today, are the Khoisan, who are people of this kind, who are people who have this value system. We did a land claim. At the time, who is the current Minister of Tourism? Derek Kanagon. Derek was Minister of Agriculture or something at the time. But it was a land claim by the Khoisan somewhere, can't remember now. And was it Rechtersveld? Yeah, so we went there and the claim was won and so on. So somebody tells me that there's an expression among the Khoi and the San people which says that a dream is not a dream until it is dreamt by the people as a whole. So I said, no, this is very interesting idea. So I included it in my speech to say it's obvious that you people here as the Khoi and the San have been dreaming about getting your land. But this must have been a dream that you shared, all of you, which is why today the dream comes true. And you know what happened? So a lot of people were sitting down like this on the floor. So I say this thing, the dream is not a dream until it's dreamt by everybody. And you know, Chief, what the response was? They did this. So I was saying this is very interesting. It was not, no, that applause was, everybody, nobody drilled them. So you could see that some of the old culture had not died. That sense of identity was still there. And they all recognized this particular expression. So it tells you that the software, the new one, didn't completely obliterate the authentic old software.
It's dormant.
It's dormant there. So we need to read.
Still fit, man. Yeah, you still fit. Well, watching you now.
But anyway, in the end, I'm really suggesting that let's try then to work together if Max is here, so that we can pursue all of these things, whether it's in agriculture or the sense of identity, language, the history that is sitting in Cape Town there, an account which is hidden from all of us. Let's resurrect it, because that helps. That helps to say, this is who we are. Thanks.
Thank you.